Hello again. I used to be something of a fan of Diane Abbot's, at least before she became an MP and for a year or two afterward. I was at that time living in Stoke Newington and quite involved in community affairs. The MP at that time, in the early 1980s, mid-1980s, was Ernie Roberts, or Red Robbo, as he was generally known. And although he was doing a decent enough job, he was very old. It was felt that somebody younger, female and black might be no bad idea, and I have to say that I broadly agreed with those sentiments. Abbott was very amusing, good company, and much liked. She was also very sharp-witted. I remember that she appeared at the old fire station community centre in Stoke Newington, where I ran a toy library at Christmas 1986. She was dressed up as Mother Christmas and handed out presents to the children. I even went to see her give a speech at Finsbury Park that year when she shared a platform with Angela Davis. This was all before she became an MP. The problem is, though, that somebody who is a good laugh in the local community centre and gets on with everybody will not necessarily make a good MP. It didn't take long to find out that this was actually the case with Diane Abbot. She's not an idiot. The fact that she got a place at Cambridge tells us that, and she was also on track for a good career in the civil service as a graduate trainee. Again, though, none of this goes towards making a good MP. It has been fairly obvious for a long while that she's hugely popular in Hackney because she is a black woman rather than because she has what it takes to be a politician. And she is now old. Just as it was time for Ernie Roberts to make way for somebody younger back in the 80s, so too is it probably time for the 70-year-old Abbott to retire gracefully and make way for the next generation. This is the natural order of things. The fact that she is being edged out is, needless to say, being interpreted by some as a sign of racism, but it's no more racist than when the old white man was forced out to make way for a young black woman. It is simply that times change and old people cannot hang on indefinitely in whatever post they feel at home in. As regards the string of terrible errors that Diane Abbot has made over the years, being unable to produce the correct figures during interviews and so on, this is a sign not of stupidity, but rather of laziness. She felt so invincible in her position that she no longer felt it necessary anymore to put in too much work or research. It was enough that she was the first black woman MP. What more was needed? Actually, of course, in the modern world, a good deal more than that is required, and many of her fellow MPs have become a little embarrassed about how out of touch she is with modern affairs. There's little animosity towards her, but rather people in Parliament feel that she has had her day. The world has changed since the Thatcher years, but Abbott has not, and that in itself is probably sufficient justification for ditching her in Hackney before the general election in July.